hide your wife, hide your podcast. This is Michael and Jeremy, Steal Your Podcast. I'm Michael Riley.
I'm Jeremy.
Hello, Jeremy.
Hi, Mike.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, and we have quite a treat for everybody today.
Well, we've all heard the stories.
We've heard the stories.
It's all over the place. Florida Man.
Florida Man. This is the Florida Man episode of Michael and Jeremy, Steal Your Podcast. We are actively in Florida right now and are privy to many of these stories, sometimes firsthand experience. So I'm going to be going over today some of my favorite stories, some of which are taking place locally to us. And Jeremy, I have not told you these stories.
Right. I didn't know you had so many loaded up. You got stories loaded up.
I got several. And these stories in particular are more geared towards things that I know where that is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Here, local to where I live. Here in Melbourne. So I'm going to go over with you some of these stories. I have a few of them. Do you just want to go right into it?
Just jump right into it.
Just jump right into it.
So you got them listed? Are they listed in any particular order?
No, not in particular. And as a treat, the last story, a story of a man that I knew and interacted with prior to the story that hit the news.
So exciting.
All right, so that is what we're going to be ending the podcast with, is this story that I know this guy.
And everyone knows what a Florida Man is. Like, it's a crazy thing happens in Florida. I think everyone remembers the bath salt incident.
Oh, everyone, eating the face.
Eating the face.
That was
Florida
in
Man.
Miami, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was a native Floridian that did it. It was a tourist.
All right, so headline: Florida. This took place in the Walmart closest to me. Okay. All right. So
of course, it's a Walmart. It's always going down in a Walmart.
Of course, right now. So
Walmart or Disneyland.
Florida man arrested on DUI charge after driving scooter into Walmart shelves. Police say.
Allegedly.
Okay. This man, 39-year-old man, was arrested on allegations of driving a motorized scooter while drunk and crashing into shelves Sunday at a Walmart in Melbourne. So, if I just imagine this guy's friends be like, "Bro, it's too much." No, I'm fine.
Put him in the cart, man.
I'm fine. It'll be fine. I've done this a million times.
So is that considered like a DUI? It's a motorized.
It's a vehicle. It's a vehicle. So I mean, how far are they going to take vehicle? I know you can get DUIs on bicycles. But this man was on a motorized scooter inside of a building. So, according to Melbourne police, the man was driving a Walmart scooter and had his open backpack sitting in the scooter basket where an open bottle of Smirnoff vodka could be seen. So, it wasn't that he was drunk. He was actively drinking. While he was driving.
Just go to Walmart, get fucking hammered, bro.
Police said the man was seen swaying in the scooter and running into shelves, and he nearly stuck other customers. Nearly stuck them.
what is this, like a prison? Is it a prison attack?
He's got a stick, obviously, and he's just, boop, yeah, I got stuck. Police said that the man had glassy eyes and smelled like alcohol.
Oh, so he was handicapped. He had glass eyes.
Maybe. The scooter driver was unresponsive when he was asked to show his ID. Just dead-eyed. Can we see your ID, sir? Man, those are some glassy eyes, sir. I'm gonna stick you. All right, so he had to be taken to a patrol vehicle on a stretcher. So they had to haul his ass out.
They picked him up out of his scooter and put him in a stretcher.
He refused a breath test. No. No.
No, I don't. I would hate to incriminate myself.
He was booked into Brevard County Jail on charges of DUI, refusal with prior citation, disorderly intoxication, and possession of an open container. So this guy, he went to Walmart and he's like, I'm having a good time.
Yeah, he was obviously just partying. They were probably hanging out on the beach all day, drinking.
So, again, DUI. So he's charged with a DUI. It's like, okay, so because it had four wheels and handlebars...
Why is Walmart snitching, though? This guy's just having a good time. He's trying to buy stuff at the cheapest prices he can get them.
I mean, these people are getting stuck by this guy. They're getting stuck.
Was he trapping them? They couldn't get down the aisles, so
Is he
just
sticking
trapping
them, or does it mean stuck? Meaning he's blocking people in so they can't escape.
Which is hilarious.
Hey, you can't leave this aisle.
He's just waving his bottle of Smirnoff around.
Go around.
This is my aisle.
Go around.
Pay the toll. Pay the toll.
Pay the fine.
I claim everything Jello and beyond.
So, DUI here at my Walmart with a guy on a scooter. Living in Florida, you spot things constantly, and it's hard because you want to try and remember it, and I know for a fact I've gone into a Walmart and seen some crazy shit.
Oh, I've done some crazy shit.
In a Walmart?
Oh, yeah. In my early 20s, like brand new 20s, I took a cocktail. I had just this plastic, like Dollar Tree plastic blue cup filled up with a cocktail, and I just walked in with a Jack and Coke into Walmart, and I'm just shopping, looking at stuff. Dude, I was walking around the cologne aisle just spraying all the stuff, just spraying it. And
Jacarno here.
I walked around the corner, and there was a fully uniformed officer in the aisle over from me. So I saw him. I went, oh shit, and I just like put my cup on the ground by the end cap, by the end of the aisle, and then I walked by him and I said, "Hello, officer. How are you doing today?" He said, "Oh, I'm doing well. Just shopping, just trying to find something for my girlfriend." I said, "Oh, that's cool, man.
Need help?"
And I walked by him and I walked down the aisle. So I'm just like looking at kitchenware. I'm in my early 20s. I have no money. I cannot buy a microwave, but I'm looking at microwaves, and I've got my eye on this police officer, and he's just walking all around my cup. It's just sitting there, and he never noticed it. And then as soon as he left that makeup aisle, which was next to the cologne, I just went over and I scooped my cup back up. And then I proceeded to put my bottle of Smirnoff into my backpack, and I jumped into this motorized scooter.
And they started sticking people.
I started sticking people, dude. I was sticking them, dude.
Oh, that's great.
Dude, Walmart's a crazy place to be a Florida man.
Dude, Walmart breeds them, I think.
And okay,
it's a manufacturer of Florida men.
So speaking of like a Walmart, so it's like a chain place and the Florida man mentality. What's so cool is, Bass Pro Shops?
Yes.
So Bass Pro Shops are like for a sportsman, that's a place to go. No matter what state you're in, they exist, right? So you go in and there's always a cool thing, like an aquarium or something like that.
You got bass in there.
Well, in Florida, when you go to a Bass Pro Shop, a lot of these Bass Pro Shops actually have a pit with alligators in them, and you can go in and pay money to feed these little alligators.
You feed them like prime rib and stuff?
Yeah, you give them like raw chicken carcasses.
Ooh.
You just buy them, and like your kids, you just bring your kid, oh, hey, feed the gator. It's just a normal thing that we do here in Florida. You've got your gator lands, gator farms, and stuff like that. But
we keep dinosaurs as a side attraction.
Oh man, there was kids
outside of our stores.
Speaking of Florida men and how it just exists, right? Like as kids, you hear stories about how these kids will go hunt down like a 4-foot alligator, and then put a leash on it and tie them to their tree,
or throw them through drive-through windows.
Which is it's a story we've heard.
Yep,
right?
That happened.
You put them in your bathtub, or you just capture them, and then you do fun. You just bring them around, do cool
dress
stuff.
them in women's clothing.
Yeah, have you ever put lipstick on? It takes a lot of lipstick. Put a lipstick smile on.
Is that what you're doing in the makeup aisle? Buying lipstick for an alligator?
It's the officer's deep dark secret. He's just holding up a forest green. He's holding up a picture of forest green next to all the makeup,
I feel
trying
like
to figure
that
out the
red's
best.
gonna contrast his beautiful scales
Do
too
I have
much.
To, his jawline is so sharp.
I just need to pump out those yellow eyes, maybe a sunflower yellow. Ooh.
It's like, clearly this man is drinking in this Walmart, but I can't let him know what I'm up to.
I gotta let him be so I can carry on my ways.
But that Florida man stuff, dude, that lives in all of us. I think it's just a normal thing.
I think I have more Florida man stories in me somewhere.
No, we've...
waiting to be released onto humanity. This one, I'm just gonna get through this one. This one's a little bit more morbid, okay? But
Morbid.
it takes place The setting for this takes place across the street from a house that like I regularly treat as part of my job. So it's a customer of mine, and I'm familiar with the house, and literally across the street from it, this takes place. 2 people, a brother and sister, were found dead in their home in Melbourne, Florida on Tuesday.
Oof.
And their nephew is considered a person of interest in their deaths, according to Melbourne police. The nephew was arrested in Georgia. According to police, James C. Green, 31 of Melbourne, Florida, was arrested in Pooler, Georgia on Tuesday morning outside a church after he asked to speak with the pastor. He was acting erratically and was not able to rationally answer questions. Police said he attempted to run from the officers when they arrived, but was quickly detained. A handgun was later found in his car, which was registered to his uncle. While detained, Green reportedly made statements that a Georgia officer found concerning. Okay, all right, so he made some statements, and then the Georgia officer found them concerning and contacted Melbourne police to request a welfare check. When officers arrived, they found Alfred G. Baker, 63, and Teresa Baker, 61, dead. Brother and sister and Green's aunt and uncle dead, and evidence to indicate both were the victim of a homicide. I read this, I was like, I know that house. There were dead people in there.
So that happened when? How recently was that?
This was... I know that they recently apprehended him. This was published on August 16th. So this was this month.
This month.
This is this month. Yeah. So I was like, oh, man, that's not great. Oh, Florida man.
so killed the aunt and uncle?
Yeah, he killed his aunt and uncle.
Were there Wait, did you say there were kids involved? There were 2 bodies found, the aunts and the uncles.
Right. So a brother and sister lived together, and then also their nephew. This is a weird scenario just by itself. But anyway, not incredibly hilarious, but terrifying. Florida Man is very unpredictable, and you don't know how he's going to strike. He could show up to your Walmart getting a DUI charge, drinking on a scooter, and sticking people.
I'd rather be stuck, I think.
I would than murdered? Me too. I would definitely want to be stuck than murdered.
That's crazy, the feelings. It harkens back to episode 1 of the podcast. Like you were treating that yard, and it's all happening right there across the street.
Yeah, man. Oh, this one. Oh, this one's great. This is a little bit... I mean, granted, we'll see. This one in particular is, in my opinion, hilarious. The headline is, Florida man armed with machete crawls into bed with victim, says, I love you, before being killed by deputies. So there's an ebb and flow to the title here. Machete, ooh. Crawls into bed with victim, says, I love you. Oh, murdered by police.
What's the victim of what? Just the breaking in? Was the victim fine?
I'll get into it. A Florida man was killed after he allegedly broke into a house and got into bed with the homeowner, all while carrying a machete. The incident happened in, this is Fruitville, Florida. It's not local to me, but it was too hilarious not to include. It happened on Thursday.
Florida. I don't even know where that is.
Me either. When police said that the homeowner, who was sleeping in an apartment connected to his home, told 911 that there was a man in the unit. The suspect was reportedly sharpening a machete with a baseball bat, according to deputies. Not a great way to sharpen a machete.
Not at all.
It's like rubbing 2 things together is going to sharpen this machete.
What he was really trying to do was start a fire.
I got this soap. I'm going to rub this soap on this machete, get it nice and sharp for you.
So clean my blade.
Okay. So this is what I don't understand. It says, I have an intruder. This is the 911 call that the gentleman, I'm assuming a gentleman? So, I have an intruder that broke into my home. He's got a damn machete, and he's a little whacked, the 911 caller said. So, let's see. The guy wakes up, right? He wakes up. There's a man in his bed.
Stroking his beard. Saying,
I love you, while holding a machete. That's how you wake up. So, this man managed to make a 911 call, right? And I have a guy in my house. He's in my house. He's got a dang ass machete, and he's a little whacked.
I imagine.
So is he in the bed with the guy?
I imagine. So what I picture when you spelled it out just now, what I picture is,
excuse me.
He rolled over, grabbed his phone, and is standing there while the intruder is laying like paint me one of your French
gently
girls,
spooning him.
Yeah, just playing with his belly button, and his machete's just laying across his thigh as he made. Yes, yeah, call him.
I'm gonna make a phone call real quick. Just stay right there. Hey man, this guy's in my house. He's a little whacked. He's got a machete. Or the second scenario is the guy looks over and he goes, "Excuse me for one moment," and gets out of bed and then walks over to another room and then makes the 911 call. So either way, it's both ridiculous. All right, so when Sarasota County Sheriff's Office deputies arrived at the apartment, they found the suspect inside. So he didn't leave. So if he was in bed with the guy and he made the call and he said, "Hey, police, this guy's here," he's just like, "I'm gonna stay and watch it."
The victim got off the phone and then made the intruder a charcuterie
I
board.
could make some brownies.
Yeah, he brought him some treats while he waited.
This machete's very useful for chopping up this spaghetti.
He's like, I'm uncomfortable that you're here, but I haven't heard that phrase in such a long time. I love you too.
The homeowner told the 911 dispatchers that the intruder woke him up and said, "I love you. I woke up on a mattress and there's a guy laying next to me saying I love you. I'm weirded out. He's got my machete in his." So this is the guy's machete. So you have a machete, you're in your home, someone gets into your home, grabs said machete, gets in bed with you, wakes you up and says I love you. Okay, boy, thank God they got here quick, said the homeowner. "Excuse me, I'm going to make a phone call. Please, there's a whacked out guy with my machete, and he's saying I love you in my bed." Okay, where were we?
They're pen pals. The dude's in jail now. They're pen pals.
Oh, I'm sure that they bonded slightly while waiting for the police to get there.
It's really a chemical reaction that happens when two men hug.
When 4 of the deputies went into the apartment unit, the sheriff's office said that the suspect charged towards the deputies with the machete and sliced one of the deputies on the hand. So as soon as the cops get there, so he's hanging out with his new friend. As soon as the police get there, which he obviously knows they're on their way.
Look, the cops showed up and ruined everything.
"You're ruining my date night!"
The cops showed up and ruined everything.
"I pray to God he doesn't lose his fingers or his hand. I can tell you that it's not life-threatening, but they are critical injuries," a spokesperson for the sheriff's office said. 2 of the upper deputies then shot the suspect, who was later pronounced dead. The homeowner was not injured. What a great night for him. I mean, while we were waiting, I was really thinking about the relationship I could build with this guy. I mean, he came in strong with the "I love you," but then we got to know each other, and we have a lot of same interests.
Never was there such a tale of woe as that between Brad and Julio with the machete.
Unfortunately, this was a bad ending to a really bad situation, the spokesperson said. "Any day that our deputies have to fire a weapon, it's not a good day." Aww. The deputy whose hand was sliced by the machete will require surgery, but the injury is not life-threatening. And that's the end of that story. With poor, misunderstood Machete Man.
It was a story of unrequited love.
So this guy, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this guy's head. He's obviously a violent man, but he's chosen Gary.
Well, he was only violent until the cops showed.
Right. Once the cops get there, all hell broke loose, and he started chopping hands.
That could have been a new love connection. Oh, the stories that could be told. I mean, walking around, you're just a kid, because we did grow up in a time where you were just like kicked out till the streetlights came on.
Yeah.
You know, you just wandered around outside and found your friends and hung out and did wild shit. So these stories, this stuff that we do is go out into there's woods. So you go out to the woods near your house and you just wander around with your buds.
Right.
And you
drinking Four Loko.
Drinking caffeinated Four Lokos. Oh, I've got a story. All right. So this is kind of wild. I have many stories about these woods behind my house, but one in particular that I can tell is, so my mom had a big problem with me and my friends after school going to the end of the street and walking through these woods, which was on one side of the trail was brackish swamp water.
Right.
And then the other side was the river. And you just walk through. Well, the thing you'll find about Florida is a lot of the homeless actually do live in the woods. Mm-hmm. They're not just putting tents up.
There's a homeless camp not 400 yards away from me right now.
400 yards that way. But they do. They live in the woods. Instead of just like setting up camp at City Hall, they hide and they live in the woods. So we would go through and we'd find a bunch of homeless camps. Well, they would have furniture and stuff that they would scavenge and then put them in their camps. Well, there was a section of the woods behind my house where it ended and the marsh and the swamp kind of took over for a little bit,
Yeah.
but you could see land beyond that. But you needed a bridge to get across. So what me and my friends did, and we're talking middle school, like age, like we're still young, we would go through and find the homeless camps and take their scavenged furniture and throw it into the swamp and build a bridge. we literally built a bridge with homeless people's shit.
Oh no.
So they'd come back to their camp after recycling bottles or whatever the fuck they do.
Where's my couch?
And their armoire that they fucking took from some dying old person in Florida. And it was just half submerged into swampy, murky water with a baby alligator sitting on top of it. And we would just walk across their garbage. It was a garbage bridge that we made with the homeless garbage so we could further explore.
I mean, realistically, they were going to use that stuff to do that anyway. Probably. Look at all this good bridge stuff.
I actually did find...
Surely we'll convert this into a bridge one day.
I actually did find a
Just
machete.
who has the time?
I found a machete in those woods. It's the first machete that I... Like, it's so funny to say that's a Florida man thing. It's the first machete I found in the wild.
Oh, yeah.
There's been 3. I found 3 machetes walking through the woods.
That machete had probably seen action. Odds is good.
When I walked by it, the machete whispered, "I love you." But that's probably my... I got a few Florida man stories, but they're all little anecdotes like that. Like we did... I remember my mom telling me, don't go to those woods. There's homeless people in those woods. And I just remember laughing about that. I don't know why. I just thought that was the funniest thing. Like, don't go out there. There's homeless. And in the meantime, I was stealing the homeless furniture to build a bridge to cross the swamp.
It's dangerous out there. Don't go alone. Here, take this.
Those homeless people were a means to my end. And my end was to get to the other end of my swamp.
Yeah, well, I mean, realistically, most of that stuff's probably just abandoned anyway. A lot of those camps are temporary anyway.
You know, the homeless in Florida, they actually do an interesting thing to gather water. I don't know if you know this. So they'll take plastic bags from like a Publix. They'll go like Publix has these little Publix is a grocery store in the South.
Southeast.
It's making its way. It's expanding out. But,
Yeah.
They have these little plastic.
Where shopping is a pleasure.
Yeah, you can return all your plastic bags and they'll like recycle them. So these homeless guys will go out and they'll grab a bunch of those bags and they'll go up to the mangrove trees out in the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll grab a bunch of the leaves and then stuff them into the bag and then tie the bag around the leaves. And then throughout the day while they're out like panhandling and looking for money and like finding resources, it's building water up from the humidity.
Oh, wow.
And it's oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And it's just purified. So then they have a plastic bag full of purified water right from the humidity. It's one of the things they do.
Smart. We got plenty of humidity. It was 100% humid today.
Isn't it almost always 100%?
We fluctuate between 80 and 100.
You know, I hate when I go into somewhere. Like I fly back in from like a Texas, where it's 108 degrees outside, and I'll fly back in, and I fly into 92. Now it's 92 in Florida, and I'm back home. Like, oh man, it feels so great. And I'm talking to somebody at the gas station. They go, "Yeah, it is. It's not as hot, but that humidity, huh?" Every time I hear that, well, that humidity though, humidity is what really takes it over. People who have never left Florida, ever. Yeah, it might be hot in Dallas, but the humidity here, it's just so hot. I'm like, no, I'm literally telling you a story.
You've never seen anything like it.
I was literally telling you a story about how my bones were on fire in Texas and how nice it is here, and you're like, no.
Dude, my buddy's wife, she grew up in Yuma, Arizona.
Yuma?
Yeah.
Like 310 to Yuma?
And like they have bars that say if you can see a cloud in the sky, you get a free drink. Like if there's a cloud present anywhere in the vicinity of the bar, it's a free drink for everybody in the bar.
It's a good strategy.
They don't pay that out very often. And so, like, literally, they get excited to see, like, a cloud. Like, her air conditioning bill in Yuma was $400.
Oh, my God. Do they have central air out there? Is that a thing?
Yeah, but AC is what keeps you alive. I actually think there was an article that stated that Yuma, Arizona was the worst city to live in the country. And then we give her shit for it all the time.
It's like, what's the marketing like? You know how every city has like a commercial for like move here? Or every state has, come to Florida. There's fish and stuff.
Come to Yuma, we'll melt your bones and use it for clouds.
Come to Yuma. What do you need, AC or you die?
It's so cold.
There's been a tragedy in the studio.
I poured a beer all over my pants.
There's the land shark has landed.
No! Oh, it's so cold. Oh, it's such a party foul, and I have to. It's gonna be so sticky.
you wanna take a break right here? You wanna clean that up or
no?
The show must go on.
The show must go on. I'll sit with my beer pants. That's what the audience wants. Okay, no cuts here. Let's keep moving on.
Unlike that officer's hands, no cuts here.
You know what? I'm gonna edit it out.
Hello, everybody. This is Future Michael coming at you. Sorry, I have a cold, so I sound a little bit different. But I just wanted to chime in because this motherfucker wants me to edit out him spilling beer all over his pants. And you know what I say? Fuck you. You're going to sit there and everyone's going to know that you spilled beer all over your pants, you piece of shit. Maybe you should be more careful with your beer. And just remember, editing Michael has all the power, okay? So when you're sitting there cracking dick jokes with Jeremy, just remember that I hold all the cards. All right, bye.
All right, so one thing that we have joked about is me and Jeremy living in Florida. We think to ourselves, am I Florida Man?
This is the tough questions you have to ask yourself.
And so looking back, I thought of a story. I was like, if this was reported, it totally could have been a Florida Man story. And so what I did was I recalled the story as I remembered it and then wrote it down as if it was a news article. So I could read it.
So this is your story.
This is my like
in the
closest I could come up with that's not murdering somebody, you know, because I'm not going to tell you if I murdered anybody. Onlookers at UCF were surprised to see a shirtless man running into traffic 9 p.m. Wednesday wearing what appeared to be a blanket as a cape. One eyewitness describes his brief encounter with the man. Well, the speed limit was only 15 miles per hour, so it was easy enough to stop. It was dark, but with my headlights I could see him approach the front of the car. He screamed, "Snap into a Slim Jim," and did that cool Dracula thing, you know, when he throws his cape over his face and then he ran away. It seemed like someone I would totally hang out with. Later, it was reported the same man was seen urinating on the side of the microbiology building. An eyewitness, which did not wish to be captured on film, said he uttered loudly, "I am the master of science," before running into the night once more. It is speculative, but this may be the man that last year filmed himself staying up for 72 hours straight. Many traffic cones were lost.
So you slapped on a sheet as a cape.
Yeah, it was actually an American Idiot Green Day blanket.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
So that's the closest.
So you ran out into the street and stopped traffic?
I did.
And you whipped your cape open and screamed, "Snap into a Slim Jim."
Yeah, to the car that stopped in front of me.
Was there alcohol involved?
Yeah.
Yeah. You very easily could have been that guy at Walmart riding around on your scooter.
I could have been sticking people. Yeah. Yeah, I did not have an open container of alcohol with me.
Was this when you were in college?
Yes, I was in college.
You were in college. What were you drinking? Do you remember?
Oh, God, probably something really lame. It was probably Natty Ice.
Natty Ice.
It was probably Natty Ice.
MD 2020.
Four Loko.
Well, we were drinking Four Loko when it was the original recipe.
Yeah. Oh, that stuff would mess you up in 2007.
The goal was to drink 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still taste it
I would only
sometimes.
make it through 2.
I still taste it sometimes.
Before taking my shirt off and running into traffic.
Just snap into a Slim Jim.
Snap into a Slim Jim! I yelled it.
That
Very loud.
That in itself dates when this happened.
I even did
Just
a cool
happened to be Slim
pose
Jim.
when I did it. But that's Florida Man me. Yeah.
Was that a solo mission? Did you have a
Oh
group
no, they all crossed the road normally. I hung back.
waiting in the wings?
And then I peed on that microbiology building and I screamed, I'm the master of science!
I own you, science. This is your personal Florida Man story. It's so funny how we all are a little Florida Man.
Yeah, deep down. At the heart of every human soul, there's a Florida man waiting to be in Florida. You know what I mean? And then it's unleashed.
Didn't you said you had a story of someone that you knew?
Yes, I'm saving that one for last. I switched to whiskey. The smart move.
It's Land Shark and Jack Daniels.
One half of my pants will be covered in beer. The other half will be covered in whiskey. So for this story, I actually had Paige, my sister-in-law, send it to me because I couldn't remember the man's name. Well, I don't think she remembered it either, but she...
We'll leave names out of
She
it.
had enough detail. Oh, no, I'm going to tell the man's name. All right, so I just want you to read the headline.
The headline.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Naked Florida man steals truck. Leads officers on chase, police say.
I love how it always
It's
says
always-
police say.
Yeah. It's like, it leaves a part in your mind where you go, is that just alleged? Did that actually happen? The police said it did.
So the gentleman in this news story, I was living with my brother and sister-in-law for a little while, and in their neighborhood there was this man, and he would be seen gallivanting about the neighborhood shirtless, and he had those old school headphones with the antenna sticking out, like the radio headphones,
like a Walkman type
and
radio headphone.
he would be dancing down the street, singing out loud the music that he's listening to.
Where was this? Because I knew a guy in back where we're from.
In Cocoa.
Is this Disco Steve?
I don't know. His name is...
You don't know Disco Steve? He used to hang out at all the gas stations. He was a dude with big old headphones on.
I mean, I have a story about him in a gas station, which I'm going to tell.
I wonder if this is...
So we had our own name for the guy. We called him the Queen.
The Queen.
The Queen!
There is a Disco Steve. I wonder if they're one and the same.
Now,
That's crazy.
Did you guys call him Disco Steve because his name was Steve?
I have no idea. It was he was just the guy that I always knew, and then in high school they called him Disco Steve. So I don't know if his name was actually Steve, but everyone knew who he was by his presence.
We'll eventually get to his name. Anyway, I'm going to start. Again, I know this guy, and I would just see him dancing around. And he would sing to you as you drove by and, like, point to you. So he would point as you're driving by and just continue singing. He'd, like, serenade you as your car drives by. And he would, like, get up on the sign, like, to the entrance of the neighborhood and, like, just do a power ballad. And
I love this guy.
he would go over to the gas station that I would go to frequently. I was walking in with my buddy Justin, my brother-in-law. I was walking in with Justin, and I was mentioning, oh, man, I have really bad, like, heartburn. This dude was there, and he was, again, shirtless, with his headphones on, in the gas station, and he goes, mustard! I was like, excuse me? He goes, like, mustard, it helps the indigestion.
What a helpful guy.
And I was like, cool, man. Sweet. I actually think I think it works.
He might have been right. It's just a wealth of knowledge. This
Actually,
man.
let's look
Look it up real quick. I'm pretty sure it does.
Does mustard...
It increases it. It just makes it worse.
Does mustard help heartburn?
You know what? I can't feel like it does because of deli subs. A nice delicious deli sub with some mustard on it. That's Heartburn City.
Okay, so this is mustard for heartburn may sound far-fetched, but many people believe it works.
So he believed in himself and the message.
It may sound far-fetched, but some people think it does work.
The mind is a powerful tool. It's a
home remedy. This one says strange but true. Taking a spoonful of mustard can often alleviate heartburn symptoms.
You're at the gas station and he just pulls out a pocket full of mustard seeds. Just chew on these,
And
bro.
then there's another. The mustards tend to have a kick, which can be problematic for heartburn sufferers.
Which was what I would imagine. I can imagine having heartburn. And
Right.
It feels like eating mustard.
Okay, so that's neither here or there. The man told me to eat mustard. I said okay, and then we left.
Proceeded to chug a bottle of mustard.
I did not consume any mustard. Let's get into the story. So now you guys have an understanding of my relationship with this man.
He's helpful.
Melbourne, Florida. A man was arrested after police say he stole a pickup truck from a Melbourne dealership, and then he led officers on a pursuit. Richard Blows, 40, is facing several charges, including grand
Wait,
theft.
whoa. Richard Blows 40 what?
40 years old. Oh,
His name is Richard Blow. Got it.
Blows. B-L-O.
Richard Blows
S-E.
40 what?
Richard Blows, 40, is facing several charges, including grand theft. Hey, we're horny around here. Richard Blows, 40, is facing several charges, including grand theft of a motor vehicle, criminal mischief, violation of probation, and driving with a suspended license. Melbourne police officers say that when they finally cornered Blows at a house in Cocoa, he stepped out from the truck totally naked. He didn't put up a fight when officers arrested him. Melbourne police spokesman Sean Hill says there's rarely a dull moment in the Sunshine State.
I love this guy, Richard Blows.
Hey, this is me, the spokesperson Sean Hill. I'm a pretty funny guy.
Mr. Blows, please put your clothes back on. Mr. Blows.
You always hear about Florida.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. His name is Richard Blows. His name is Dick Blows. His name is Dick Blows.
His name is Dick
His
Blows!
name is Dick Blows.
Oh, it took me way too long to put together.
He goes...
Oh.
Mr. Blows, please put your clothes back on. Dick Blows, put your clothes back on.
Jesus Christ. Sean Hill continues, you always hear about Florida. It's very exciting. So this is a terribly written news article.
It's very exciting.
Hey, you always hear about Florida. It's a very exciting.
It's a very exciting.
We'll just leave it at that. It's an exciting case, and that's where it goes from there. Okay, so he just gave up at the end.
Dick Blows is just wandering around trying to help people with their indigestion and their heartburn.
Hey guys, it's me, Dick Blows, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be seeing if mustard helps with heartburn.
Today's episode, Dick Blows mustard seeds.
Investigators say it all started at Fiat of Melbourne, where surveillance cameras spotted Blows
Wait, at
jumping...
the Fiat?
The Fiat, yeah.
Oh, 6'2" in my compact. No slack. All right.
They spotted Blows jumping the fence and going into the paint shop. According to an arrest affidavit...
Affidavit. So wait, he went into a paint shop, Dick Blows? He's like trying to be the new Bob Ross. Dick painting with Dick Blows.
He goes into the paint shop. According to an arrest affidavit obtained by Fox 35 News, Blows was reportedly seen on security cameras around 5 a.m., so he's an early riser.
He never slept.
He had that raging morning wood. Wandering around the dealership and then sat on the roof of another vehicle for 30 minutes. Okay.
How do they know it was for 30 minutes?
I wonder if he's like, I'm a werewolf. And it's happening soon.
My name used to be Dick Blows, now it's Dick Howls.
I'm just going to sit in this random area and wait for the change to take me. An employee later saw Blows, him standing naked in a paint booth, the report states. While there, police say Blows damaged a motorcycle and a pickup truck. Ah, fuck you! Then he got into a different pickup truck in the paint shop and then drove away. He disappeared approximately 20 to 30 minutes after the incident occurred, Hill explains. One of our lieutenants located the vehicle. That's when we worked with the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, got their helicopter up in the air. So now there's people in the air, people on the ground, they're looking for Dick Blows. The report states that the owner of the Ram was contacted and they were able to track the truck going north on Interstate 95. Blows reportedly struck a guardrail several times before exiting the highway. He was eventually stopped and taken into custody. I can guarantee you get off on exit at the 524 because that's the neighborhood that he lives in. All right, I would say once he exited the vehicle, I believe they had multiple officers on scene and making contact with him, announcing, "We're the police department!"
We're looking for Mr. Blows. In case you were confused about the lights.
Sir, we're the police department. Look. All right.
Respect the badge, Blows.
Along with the sheriff's office, Hill says he understands that he was stopped. I understand. You've stopped me.
Officers report that they had heartburn at the moment, and Dick Blows did suggest mustard.
He pulled out some mustard. Officers said they had no idea where he got it. During an interview with police, Blows reportedly said that he did not steal the truck and that someone in a red shirt told him he could take it. So, now just take it, bro.
It's yours.
Hey, man, just take it, bro. It's fine. No one's using it. That's an extra. He had a criminal history in Brevard County going back to 2018. Police say Blows was already out on probation when they arrested him in this incident. So that is the story of Mr. Dick Blows.
It's actually a pretty good time for Richard. 2022 is a good year to be a male feminist. Dick Blows.
I need to see if he's still in that neighborhood. I gotta talk to Paige and see if like he's still there. You know that this is the kind of guy who is like, his therapist was like, you need to dance off your problems, bro.
And he did.
And he did his best. He did his damnedest.
I do believe that who we're talking about is Disco Steve. That reminds me of this guy.
I have a picture
that
of him.
I knew.
I
Yeah,
got
if
a
you got a
picture
picture?
Yeah, right there. We're gonna put it up for everyone to see. But that's him.
So Disco Steve used to have long curly hair off to the side under his hat. If I remember
really?
correctly. So this might be a very unflattering picture. This guy looks like a serial killer clown.
Yeah.
Honestly,
If
are
he
you
didn't have
going to put a picture
He
up?
didn't have any makeup on.
Put a picture of that guy up.
We're gonna put links to everything on social media. So, all right. So that is my main stories, and oh man, I wonder if there's like some sort of equivalent, like Yuma Man.
Dude, I have this theory. All these Florida Man stories.
Like, there's gotta be another state, right?
Dude, I lived in Washington State.
New York City Man.
I lived in
or
Washington
something?
State for 5 years. I've seen way crazier stuff
Oh, sure.
on the daily basis in like Portland, Oregon, and in the streets of Seattle. Like the stuff that even in our little town of Longview, which we lived in, it was named after Green Day named their song Longview after the city that I was living in, Longview,
Yeah.
Washington.
A song about masturbation.
A song about there's nothing to do except masturbate and sit in your room. And it's true because it's just drugs and masturbation. That's what these places are like. Crazy stuff is happening on the daily, but there's no Washington Man.
Right.
It's all Florida Man.
I mean, like, I feel like there is. I'm sure. If you go online, you're going to see crazy stories, insert state name here, and then you get a crazy thing out of it. But I feel like Florida's like the Nickelback of that. You know what I mean? People love to hate Florida more.
Look at this incident.
Right. Look at this incident. When you do, it makes you laugh.
And the guy bit his fucking face.
Ate it like a bunch of Twizzlers.
And that dude was probably from like Maine. Just some fucking dude from Maine who got a hold of bath salts and did a bunch of drugs.
Like, yeah, we got bath salts. Okay, everyone's probably got a bath salt story, where people eat their faces. God, I'm sure West Virginia's, they got meth out the wazoo. Like, you go up north, like
literally
Indiana,
in the town Wazoo.
Indiana, West Virginia, they got the meth heads on a level that we don't understand.
If you wanted to make the most successful army of scavengers, you would just make them all addicted to meth. That's the way.
I had a friend that tried meth.
He tried the amphetamine.
I had a friend that tried meth, and the reason he told me, like, he came back after 2 days, and he's like, "Yeah, I did meth."
He's like, wait. He came back after 2 days. He's like, "I've been awake for 2 days."
So he's like, "I did meth." I was like, "Why did you do meth? Why? We are freshmen in college." He is a mathematician.
And his name is Steve Milkins.
I'm not gonna tell you his name. He's like, "I tried meth." I was like, "Why? Just give me a reason." He goes, "Well, I thought it was crack." I was like, "No!"
In the grand scheme of things, crack is way more mellow. Have you ever walked up on a crackhead versus a meth, like a tweaker? The crackhead is way ready to help you with life. He's like, hey bro, do you need directions? Do you want a bottle of water? It's a half bottle of water. It's got dirt in it, but he's still offering it
I
to
got
you,
an alligator
right?
that needs some lipstick.
He wants to be your best friend because he needs $1, right? These meth heads are like, how do I steal everything from this one person?
I have a machete. I can turn this machete somehow into meth.
I have a machete and I'm starved of affection. How do I make both these things work for me?
I've had a hard life. I've decided to use meth. and now I need more meth. That's where I'm at.
The meth mentality is, I've had a hard life. My life is almost as hard as steel. This machete is made out of steel. Maybe I should steal stuff from people.
That's possible.
It's the meth mentality, the phetamine. It's the phetamine fetish, dude. That's what it is.
Here at Florida Man Inc., our meth mentality is steal, steal, steal.
I know the world seems all methed up, but we're here to fix that issue.
We believe in our mission statement.
I'd just much rather be around a bunch of crackheads that are just super friendly. Like, hey man, I saw a rat. They're just scratching their neck. Like, I saw a rat run into your basement. I will kill that rat for $5. You're like, all right, crackhead, here you go. You can employ a crackhead. You cannot employ
Hey
a
man,
meth-
you need a windshield washer. I already washed the windshield. How much money are you going to pay me to wash the windshield?
Yeah, and he might have used his own urine to wash that windshield, but you know what? It's sanitary.
And he likes the taste.
It's definitely sterile. You know? That's the difference. You can't trust these fed heads, dude. These phetamines, you can't trust them.
Yeah. I've lived in Florida since I was 2, and you have lived in Florida your entire life, which technically equates to the same amount of time of being in Florida based on our age gap. I want to see if you have the same kind of feeling I do, especially considering you do a lot of traveling. I say constantly, I hate living in Florida. And then I'll visit my dad in Indiana. I will go visit my dad in Indiana again. And then I'll be up there just in a different state, a different setting, different plants, different trees, different people. And after a couple of days, I'm just like, I miss Florida. Florida's comfortable and I like it. And they don't have any palm trees at all. And then I get anxious. And then when I get back to Florida, I'm like, oh, okay,
that
cool.
warm humidity blanket.
And then a
hits
week
you.
goes by, I'm like, I fucking hate Florida. I hate everything about it. How do you feel? Is that something like you? Because you get to go travel constantly out of the state especially during the week.
For the last 10 years, I've been traveling around, for sure.
Yeah.
When I was a child, when I was a young man, not a child, when I was a young man, I had the same feeling as everybody else. It's less than Jake. Let's get out of this town. You
Right.
know?
Gainesville, Rock City.
Yeah. I was, fuck this place. Florida sucks. It's just kind of that mentality you're in because you live there and you grew up there. So it's all you know. And life sucks. Life isn't fair. So you just hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started traveling, and the more places that I started to visit, I started to realize how much that I actually truly do love Florida. Florida's a totally different place, dude. Hence Florida Man.
It does something to you.
It's different.
When you grow up here and like this is all you know, everything else seems like bland and like cardboard. Dude, in Florida, there's a couple of historic places in Florida, and like you'll get to any type of city in Florida. If it's old, we tear that shit down. We tear that old ass fucking building down and we put up something brand new and usable and cool. Like, it's so hard to get historic areas
all right,
now.
well, let me counter, because there are hotels. I found out on the West Coast is a big deal, right?
Uh-huh.
There's a hotel. I think it's the Del Marco. It's a big pink hotel. No, it's the Caesar. The Caesar.
Uh-huh.
It's this big pink hotel
Okay.
that was super famous back in like the 50s and the 60s. It's like where all the Hollywood people would go.
Sure.
And you go now and it's still that same place.
Yeah.
It's actually banking on the nostalgia of the history of the place, but you're only going back as far as the 50s, the 60s.
We have that in here in Melbourne.
Oh yeah,
Jim
yeah.
Morrison.
Right.
So Jim Morrison, fucking where he was born, is like, he was born in this place, and you can come see it, and we maintain it. It's a piece of shit. It's garbage, but guess what?
Ernest Hemingway's place in the Keys. Like, it's just a fucking shithole, like
Right.
70s, 60s, like ranch style kind of
Dude,
house.
just tear that shit down. Put up a fucking plaque. Move on with your lives. Put up a fucking Denny's.
See,
we're running out of Denny's. Even those are getting torn down when they get too old.
But then it's gonna have the nostalgic run, because even now I'll be like, what about Denny's though? Like, let's go to Denny's.
I want a schlambastic breakfast is what I want.
And have you ever had a Hams Over Miami in Miami?
No.
It's
I've been to Miami one time. I drove through on my way to a cruise, and I witnessed several vehicles drive by that were riddled with bullet holes.
Miami is trash. I'm not gonna lie, Miami's trash. It's probably the worst place in Florida. Sorry, Miami. Sorry if you're trapped there, but it is probably the worst place.
They got the Dolphins, bro.
I mean, they have the Dolphins training camp.
Far more interesting than the games that the team plays.
They really fell over after Dan Marino.
Dude,
I don't
our
even care
uncle
about
is
football.
the biggest Dolphins fan on the planet, and he's been that as long as we've known him, and it's just constantly, I'm so sorry that you like the Dolphins.
You remember how, these Marine guys would have the Golden Glove necklaces? The little chains with the golden gloves on them because they were like champion boxers in the military.
Yeah.
Our uncle has the little golden chain with the little golden Miami Dolphin on it because that's how serious it is. Because that's how serious we get.
Dude, he has like a lithograph of Dan Marino signed by Dan Marino.
Covered in cum. I mean...
I mean, you do not want to put a black light up to this painting at all.
Is the haunted Dan Marino painting. But yeah, this
But luckily now, the Florida, we got what's his face? Brady. Brady representing now.
I grew up with the Patriots.
Yeah, you did.
Hardcore. My family is my stepdad's side of the family. It's all Boston. So it's the Red Sox, everything. It was growing up during that time where the Red Sox were losing every year and the Patriots sucked. And then I remember this one time, we're sitting here watching the Super Bowl, and they pull out Drew Bledsoe. I don't remember if he got like an injury or what it was, but they pulled Drew Bledsoe out, and they decided, hey, we're gonna send this new kid, this new kid, his second string quarterback, whatever he was. We're gonna send him out. And it's the Super Bowl. People are like, no. This guy's the worst. He's just a little college kid. Whatever he was, it was Tom Brady. He went out and he wiped the floor and he won. And then that started just that season, that time period where they just won. The Patriots just won every year.
Yeah.
So it was a good time to be indoctrinated into the Patriots.
It is just not a lie. Tom Brady is he's the GOAT of football.
He really is probably the greatest quarterback of all time. Speaking as, I know you don't know as much about sports, and I don't either. We're not really, sports oriented, but that was a big time in history.
Yeah.
Where this was happening.
Right.
And, yeah, Tom Brady's part of the Buccaneers now, dude. It's crazy how you can just be like, oh yeah, I'm a Patriots fan, I guess, because my family is.
No, at this point, there's Tom Brady fans.
Oh yeah, Tom Brady for sure.
Yeah. I can't wait till this point where Tom Brady becomes Florida Man, like that, because that's what we're setting up.
I thought he did though. Did he not already do it?
I don't know.
He so
you
they
tell
won.
me. I'm not a big football person.
So the Tampa Bay, and I'm not either. I'm not big into sports, but I do know certain things, right? So Tom Brady and Gronkowski, because Gronkowski, they left the Patriots and joined the Bucks at the same time.
Two people did.
Yes, they won that Super Bowl, and then after they won the Super Bowl, there was a video that leaked of them on a yacht, like they're just on the water in Florida, and they're going by, and they had the Heisman's trophy. They had it's the Heisman, right? The football trophy. It's the Heisman, right?
The Heisman is a football trophy.
It's the one though that you win for the Super Bowl. It's the
Super Bowl trophy is the pillar with the football
with the
on
football
the end
on
of it.
Is that not the Heisman?
The Heisman is the.
Okay, so they won. It was the Super Bowl trophy that they had. It was the football, the silver football
That's the
on
Super Bowl.
yeah. So
the gesture that I did was a man who was
pushing away his demons.
Yeah, he was recoiling in fear from
snakes,
a mugger, or a man on a electronic cart in a Walmart.
No, stay away from me, sneer mouth breath. I don't want you to stick me.
I can see it. It's there.
So he's on this yacht, and they're going, and there's another boat behind them, and he takes the trophy that he just won for the Super Bowl, and he throws it like a football across the water, and then someone else on the other boat catches it, and they all
Florida
laugh.
man throws
So he
Super
does.
Bowl trophy across
New
boats.
England man becomes Florida man, and then throws
It's a
Super
magical
Bowl
moment.
trophy. There's a freedom to becoming a Florida man.
All right, picking up now. So, Jeremy, do you see your Florida man legacy building in the future?
I'm 100% proud of being a Florida man. I know these stories exist, but we were talking about it. We've been all over the place. You went to Indiana, and you.
I've been to a couple of states.
Well, I've definitely been all over.
Yes, you have far more than I.
I've lived in almost every state, at least for a month. If you could put a month stamp, like how long do you actually consider living in a place before you can say like, oh, I got the feel of living in this place?
Oh, me in particular?
Yes, yeah.
12 years.
Okay, well that's Florida. I've lived in Oklahoma for 6 months. And then
that's living in a place.
Then I
100%.
I was in California for 2. So but
That's
you're living
still-
there every day in a
that's
hotel.
like a summer vacation.
Is it? Because you're
Is it?
Because honestly, like it's so difficult. I was in San Francisco. Sorry, guys.
I felt it. It was palpable.
Well, that's the only thing that was palpable in San Francisco.
Oh my god.
What's up? But so you live in these different places, but the work that I was doing is like you have to grocery shop in those places. Like you're living there day in and day out. You're doing,
clipping coupons.
You're doing your laundry there.
Right.
You live there. Those are the people you interact with for months and months and months. Then you move on to the next state, and you work there, and you get to know those people.
Yeah. And you're like
And-
pent up in. Did you like stay in a hotel or did you have like a place?
It was almost always hotels. Sometimes they would rent apartments
Yeah.
for us to stay in,
Oh,
or
nice.
they would rent a house, and there'd be like 8 dudes living in a house, trying to coexist from all walks of life.
Trying to hide their masturbating.
No,
No, you
no,
did open.
I don't know a single man who does. You announce that shit loud and proud. I just dropped a load.
My shameful act of self-satisfaction.
You go out of the shower, you're beaming, and your bros look at you like, I know what you did. And you all share a little smug smile, and you high five. What's his name? He's in all those movies like Notting Hill. Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
Just like Hugh Grant. It's like a Mickey Blue Eyes little wink. Of like, oh, my bud just jacked off. Oh, good for you, bud. Right? You have a little pride in your buds for doing it. Like, did you just come? Like, good for you, dude. Like, I'm proud of you. Like,
Just silent fist bump.
or a squishy fist bump.
Oh, it just kind of slid off. Oh.
But no, I have lived all over the great country of the United States.
And would you live anywhere else other than Florida?
I'm a little tempted by Massachusetts,
Yeah.
only because of the history involved.
With the Patriots.
No,
Patriots are there.
I
And you
don't
wanna
care.
live there
I don't
so you
care
can-
about football at
You
all.
can touch them.
I have touched the Patriots.
You can buy the footballs that they make in Boston that say Patriots on it.
I did like Massachusetts. There's a history there. There's
There's-
seafaring
There's-
towns.
I mean, Boston in general.
Boston's pretty dope. Quincy Market. You want some good food? You go to Quincy Market. Lobster rolls. They got everything. I don't even like seafood, but I like the seafood at Quincy Market.
Dude, I'm
good
Irish.
stuff.
I love seafood.
I bet you do. You see a potato and you eat it.
With seafood on it.
It's like it.
No, what no, listen here, boyo. We take the potatoes, we take them on the boat so we can have a snack while we fish for scallops.
I'm a vegetarian Irishman.
Vegetarian, I only eat fish.
I like imitation crab.
Only eat fish and potatoes. I'm a vegetarian.
What are you doing? Killing all those poor defenseless shellfish.
Oh, you're being quite shellfish.
How selfish can you be with your shellfish?
Toy.
I told myself a little diddly do. Fucking Irish. I hope you like it, Jeff. You fucking traitor.
Yeah,
Look at me.
my brother is in Ireland right
I'm
now.
in Ireland.
Douchebag.
Fucking donde está la biblioteca?
Dude, we're gonna get big in Ireland. I'm telling you this right now. we're going to get big in Ireland, and we're going to go there and do a live show.
I want to do a live show in Edinburgh. Shout out to Edinburgh.
Edinburgh,
Scotland. That. I'm looking at you, Scotty Land, dude. Like, let's smoke a cigarette in a fucking in a rainstorm under a stony bridge. That's what I want.
Dude, we got to do North and not North Ireland.
Let's restart the battle between the Protestants and the Catholics. That's what we'll do.
Yes. Stir the pot. We're a bunch of pot stirrers, and that pot is full of scallops.
Oh, look at, I've got au gratin. Isn't au gratin German? Is it a German potato dish?
I don't know.
I scalloped me potatoes and put cheese on them. Hergy, fergen, Jurgen.
Did you go Irish and then Swedish? Like famously Swedish chef from Muppets?
Jurgen, Furgen, have my potatoes.
Jurgen, Furgen, tighty tight.
God to save the Queen.
Okay. All right, guys.
Well,
just wanted to thank you so much for tuning in for this episode.
Did we steal a podcast?
Florida Man. Yeah, we
I
stole
feel like
a Florida
we
Man
stole the
podcast.
topic of Florida Man. We took it. It's ours now.
And, Jeremy, the numbers came in. For last week's episode, we are huge in one
Girthy?
small town of Belize. They love us there.
They don't.
And I feel really bad because, like other paranormal podcasts, they're going to have to shut down. They're not going to have any listeners after last week's episode because they're only going to listen to that one episode of ours forever. Just the one.
Are you posting pictures of that diary? From
it's already
one?
on the internet.
Yeah, it's already out there.
Oh yeah, you can go to our Instagram. That is MJSYPOD.
That's Mike
on Instagram.
Jeremy Steal Your Podcast.
You can also go to MJSYPOD.com. That'll have our show updates and everything. I would like to thank Lydia Can't Breathe for the use of our...
Lydia Can't Breathe.
Thank you, Jeremy. I had it. Okay.
Did you? I thought you couldn't breathe. I was just trying to...
No, Lydia Can't Breathe, and that is the band that is doing our intro music.
That was your nickname back in high school.
We treat them with
Lydia.
respect. Okay? Lydia Can't Breathe, their song Sheep, as our intro music. Check that band out. They're all over the internet. They're on Spotify. They just had a single release called Electric Powder, and you can find that. Hopefully they're going to be doing some more singles. Maybe a new album's coming out. I don't know. I'll have to talk to them.
I've been listening to them. They're actually they're
fantastic.
They're a great band.
They're a
they really are.
fantastic band.
And for being local too, like they're Florida born, aren't
Yeah,
they? They're
yeah.
Florida born guys.
They're local guys for us. And thank you again for using the theme song. Shout out every episode, and
you guys rock, dude. Literally, you guys rock.
I'll let them know. I'll let them know. Listeners, we appreciate you. Thank you. Please go to our Patreon account if you want to support the show. If you don't, that's fine. It's free. If you don't want to pay for it, we're still going to do it anyway. But if you do want to pay, just know those donations to our show are going to go into more intense episodes that we can steal from other podcasts. For example, I would love to do a science fiction drama.
Well, like a full-fledged story, beginning to end.
A space drama.
A space drama.
I want to do a space drama episode, okay? And that's a lot for me.
We're talking about voices. We're talking about
sounds, beeps, boops.
Boops and bops and beeps.
The door opens.
Oh, what is that?
Let me walk over
Oh,
here.
there's someone walking away.
And it won't sound like shit, okay? I don't want it to sound like shit. I want it to sound good because I got to steal it from another podcast. So we got, things like that. Keep us in mind, okay? Anyway, we love you.
Love you guys.
We need to come up with a good outro saying.
I love you, Mike.
I love you, Jeremy.
That's the podcast.
Bye.
Yeah.
Future Michael coming in again for you guys. Just wanted to let you know that Lydia Can't Breathe on October 8th has a wonderful show coming up called Backyard Smokeout. It's hosted by Super Dave over at Club 52 here in Melbourne. It's the dog tracks, I'm pretty sure. The big main event is Kyle is going to wrestle a midget.
and everyone's very excited about it. You can get your tickets online at blindanxietyentertainment.com, spelled like it sounds. So past Michael doesn't ever fucking say our goddamn Patreon, and it's a /Majizipod, MJSYPOD, and so you can give us money that way. Or don't. Fuck us. Don't give us money if you don't want to. We're just going to use it to do wonderful art. Art is dying, okay? We're trying to keep it alive, and we need money to do that, okay? Give us your money and your podcasts. Anyway, you can go on our Twitter also at hashtag I put the money under the rock by 95. That's 95 with like the numbers. And if you ever want us to, take a podcast, we'll take your mark. Okay. So just wanted to get you that information. I think that's it. Past Michael did everything else okay, I guess. We do have an email. It's ujah@majizipod.com. UHJYEAH. MJSYPOD. And you can send us emails if you fucking want to. I don't give a shit. Do what you want. Do whatever you want. I'm not your mom. All right, bye.
I'm just a clown speaking into a microphone, asking it to love him. Notting Hill.
I'm so glad I got that.